This week, Terra Luna Classic is going to be facing itself with two options. It's either going to blow up, be massive, and be the biggest coin not just in DeFi, but definitely within crypto, or its volume is going to plummet once the 1.2% tax gets implemented. My name is Pocket Hercules. We're going to go over some of those points in this video. Like and subscribe, and let's get right into it, guys. So, today's price action, we are down 7%. Again, that's fine. Yesterday, we saw 10% up, 8% up, I believe. And it's a Sunday, so again, the weekends, guys. Weekends, people take the weekends off. You know, who day trades on a Saturday? Sunday, you gotta go to church. Who day trades, right? So volume is down. That's okay. Remember, Terra Luna Classic again. Now I'm not saying it's an indicator or a big flag or anything like that, but every time we see that volume start to trickle down a little bit, it goes plop right back up, especially on the weekends, right? And why am I saying that this week seems to be kind of like right before a hurricane? If you guys ever experienced a hurricane, it's like super calm. The days are beautiful. The birds aren't even chirping. Nothing. It's all quiet. Dead silence. And that's kind of what we're seeing with Terra Luna Classic today. And yesterday, we've seen some sideways trading as everybody's kind of gearing up for the big day, which is the 20th. Now, what's happening on the 20th? I'm sure you guys have heard, but if you haven't, you've been sitting under a crypto rock, that's fine. It's the 1.2% tax on chain that's going to be implemented. Now, the reason why I'm saying that we have essentially two avenues that the Terra Luna Classic community is going to take. We've already seen a little bit more of a split since recently Binance was interviewed over what the impact of a burn or a tax on exchanges looks like, with India releasing news that they were going to look to combat cryptocurrencies within their country by implementing a 1% tax on every transaction. What he said essentially was that if you're a day trader, right, and you make 50, 100, 200 trades a day, every one of those trades gets a 1% or a 1.2% tax. So what happens when you trade 50 times, guys? That's more than 50% of your money that's gone, burned. So what happens? You tend to go elsewhere, right? So what India is going to find itself doing by implementing this 1% tax, while on paper it shows, oh yeah, you know, we can 1% of all transactions, we just multiply it by the volume and then divide, and then boom, it gives us a big old number, right? What they're failing to realize is that whenever you give people incentives to leave or hide their money, they will. So what's going to happen in India is that they're most likely going to see their tax revenue just fall off a cliff when it comes from crypto, because people are just going to use their brains. They're going to go on VPNs. They're going to hide their money from the Indian government. They're going to put their money overseas where the 1% tax isn't going to apply, or the 1.2% tax isn't going to apply. And that is basically what the main arguments against the 1.2% tax for Terra Luna Classic are. It's, as an exchange, you don't necessarily want to stick your neck out like that, because if you make it so that all the big volume traders are losing 1%, 1.2% from every transaction, you're making your exchange less marketable. And what's going to happen is that all that volume is just going to leave your exchange, and it's going to get gobbled up by all the other techs that are just waiting for you to lose volume. They're just waiting for that to be open, and they're going to provide incentives for these day traders to stay. And those incentives materialize themselves in no taxes, low taxes, sign-on bonuses, stuff like that, okay? So, again, those are really good points made by Binance. Of course, Binance, I would assume, knows what he's doing, right? He's running Binance, billionaire, Asian. He knows what he's going, right? Okay. Now, the big thing for Terra Luna Classic this week is that 1.2% burn. And we've already spoken about one of the paths. Now, here, let's look at the other. The other path is that everyone in the community, and we start to bring in more people outside of the community, they start to learn about DeFi, they start to learn about Terra Luna Classic, and that money starts to pour in. And when that happens, the volume may go up, and with that 1.2% burn happening, the supply starts to shrink down. But remember, you can't just do the math here linearly. You can't just grab the supply, grab the volume, divide linearly, and just, 1.2% of the supply is going to be burned every day. Because, the 24-hour volume is 2 billion, and then 1.2% is 1.2 million, and then that's how much Terra Luna is going to be burned a day. That is not how that works, because every time you burn from the supply, it's trickling down, right? So if you have 5 million, you subtract 25 million a day, and then another 30 million, and then, it's a diminishing returns type of math. And I know that might be a little complex, but that's essentially why the 1.2% tax might not necessarily be feasible in the long run. And that's okay. You know, we don't need the 1.2% tax to be permanent within Terra Luna Classic. Like all things, it can come in, serve its purpose, and then just we can push it out. We can change the parameter back down to 0, and we can move on from that. I understand that there's a certain level of attachment to the idea of Terra Luna Classic one day being worth $90 like it once was, $50, $20. And the realistic thing of that is it's not necessary for Terra Luna Classic to ever be worth that much again. I mean, as long as we're able to repeg USDC, as long as we're able to bring back all the utility, all the dApps come back, and we provide incentives for them to want to develop on this chain, the value is going to come back on its own, and the supply can be as big as it is currently. And once we balance out between the minting and the burning mechanisms, we can finally have what once was Terra Luna Classic be a healthy ecosystem again. So guys, again, we're waiting 2 days. It feels like the calm before the storm, if you will. And I'm very curious to see, again, I want to see Terra Luna Classic succeed, not just for Terra Luna Classic, but for DeFi as a whole. But again, CZ Binance does levy some pretty good points, and we need to be honest with ourselves as to what the impact of such a tax will be, because again, we're all basically in a rat race in cryptocurrency. We're all fighting for volume, we're all fighting for money, and as an investor, you need to levy your options. Like, okay, yes, Terra Luna Classic is up 10%, 20%, but how feasible is that if when I trade it tomorrow, I'm losing 4 or 5%, you know, on my transactions? It's just, you're gonna go to another coin. You might see other options as being more worthwhile, if you will. You know. Now for me, I'm buying. Not financial advice. I'm buying because I believe in Terra Luna Classic. I believe in the power of DeFi, and I'm planning on staking with the Classic Cryptos and CK's validator, because I do believe that they hold what the point, you know, like what the needs of the community are deeply. I mean, he's been just shilling the the hey, no, the validator's gonna be good, you know, we're gonna get the burn going, it's gonna be great. And I'm like, okay, bro, I got you. You know, that's pretty much what that conversation's been pretty much every freaking morning over coffee, right? And again, just 2 days. We can't wait for that burn, and then when the validators come out later, and I'm curious. I'm curious to see what the price action is going to be, because this is unprecedented. This is the first time that we've had a cryptocurrency say we're going to purposely provide a disincentive for people to use our crypto. My name is Pocket Hercules. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions for me, leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.